I met Victor, and we quickly fell in love. He was caring and attentive, and I genuinely believed he was the man of my dreams. Everything felt perfect until the day I discovered I was pregnant, not with one baby, but with twins. Excitement and nervousness swirled inside me as I longed to share the news with Victor. That spring morning, I woke up early, filled with a mix of anticipation and anxiety. We had our usual Saturday meeting at the cafe. I ordered tea and waited for him, butterflies fluttering in my stomach. When he arrived, he greeted me with a smile and a gentle kiss on the forehead, but then he noticed my serious demeanor. "Victor, I have something to tell you," I said, trying to keep my composure. "I'm pregnant." He paused, silent for a few moments, and I could see the shock on his face. "With twins," I added, attempting a smile, but he didn't return it. His expression turned pale, and he appeared lost in thought. "I need some time to think," he replied, abruptly rising from the table. "We'll talk later." I sat there alone, a wave of fear and confusion washing over me. That night, I tried calling him multiple times, but he didn't pick up. I spent hours staring at the ceiling, unable to sleep. What was happening? The following day, I went to his house, determined to find out what was going on. I knocked on the door several times until a woman opened it. She looked taken aback and asked who I was. My heart raced as I explained that I was looking for Victor. "I'm his fiancé," she said calmly, revealing a sparkling ring on her finger. My world shattered in that instant. Victor, the man I loved and trusted, had been cheating on me all along. He had a fiancé and had kept it a secret from me. In shock, I returned home, feeling utterly lost and alone. I cried all night, envisioning what it would be like to raise my children without their father. In the midst of my despair, a familiar voice brought me comfort. Ivana, my best friend, showed up at my door and enveloped me in a warm hug. "You are not alone," she assured me. "We'll get through this together." Ivana helped me tap into a strength I didn't know I possessed. I began to take the first steps to rebuild my life, knowing I had to be strong for my babies. After the shock of Victor's betrayal, I realized I had to move forward. I couldn't afford to wallow in sadness over what had happened. Ivana was my angel during this time. She visited daily, bringing food, lifting my spirits, and most importantly, helping me find a new job. Ivana knew Natalia, the owner of a mechanical workshop in the city. She spoke with Natalia and managed to schedule an interview for me. Though I was nervous, I recognized the importance of this opportunity. On the morning of the interview, I dressed as best as I could and headed to the workshop, trying to mask my fear. When I arrived, Natalia welcomed me with a smile. She was a strong and determined woman, and I knew I had to make a good impression. We chatted for a while, and I shared my experience as a mechanic. Natalia seemed pleased with what she heard, but I understood that I needed to prove my skills in practice. "You start tomorrow," she said, catching me off guard. I thanked her, and Ivana, standing beside me, was beaming with joy. I was relieved to have landed the job, but I also knew the real challenge was just beginning. On my first day of work, I arrived early and introduced myself to my new colleagues. They welcomed me warmly, but I could sense their curiosity about my abilities. I rolled up my sleeves and immersed myself in fixing cars and understanding the workshop's dynamics. Each day presented a new opportunity to demonstrate my skills and learn more. Natalia was demanding yet fair, and gradually, I earned her trust. She taught me a lot and continually encouraged me to improve. It was challenging at first, especially with the pregnancy, but I knew I had to be resilient. With every car I fixed, I gained a bit more pride and confidence. I was constructing a new life, step by step, and slowly realized that despite all the difficulties, I was determined to overcome any obstacle. The workshop transformed into more than just a job for me. It became a space to rebuild my life, discover my strength, and foster hope for the future. Each day, I was evolving into not only a better mechanic, but also a stronger and more resolute individual. One evening, as I was driving home after a long day at the workshop, something caught my eye and made me stop. A man lay injured by the side of the road. My heart raced, and without a second thought, I parked my car and rushed to him. "Are you okay?" I asked, trying to mask my panic. He slowly opened his eyes and mumbled something I couldn't quite hear. He was hurt and in desperate need of help. I knew I couldn't leave him there, so I carefully helped him into my car and drove straight to the nearest hospital. Upon my arrival, the nurses sprang into action, taking him inside. I waited anxiously in the waiting room, my mind racing with questions about who he was and what had happened to him. After a while, a nurse came to update me, saying he was stable but required further observation. I sighed with relief, yet I was aware another challenge awaited me. Because of my late arrival due to the rescue, my boss Natalia was far from pleased. She called me into her office as soon as I returned to the workshop. "Alina, we can't afford delays," she stated, visibly frustrated. "I appreciate your desire to help, but we need commitment here." I attempted to explain my situation, but Natalia was firm in her stance. She imposed a pay cut for the day, and I left the workshop feeling heavy-hearted. Even though I believed I had done the right thing, it felt like I was being punished. Later that night, while trying to unwind and put the tough day behind me, I heard a knock at the door. I opened it to find an older man, elegantly dressed, with a worried expression on his face. "Are you Alina?" he asked. "I am Anton's father, the man you saved. I came to personally thank you." He handed me an envelope filled with money, insisting I accept it as a gesture of gratitude. Hesitantly, I accepted it but inquired about Anton's condition. What he revealed next sent a chill through me. Anton had been kidnapped and was being kept sedated against his will. I was taken aback. How could anyone do something so horrific, and why? Anton's father thanked me once more and left, leaving my mind racing with thoughts. I realized I couldn't simply forget about what had transpired. Anton needed assistance, and I was determined to uncover more about his situation. After hearing about Anton's dire predicament, I was deeply unsettled. I couldn't shake the image of him, alone and sedated, in the hospital. The following day, I decided to visit him. Upon my arrival, I met a nurse named Vera, who seemed kind and trustworthy. "Hi, I'm Alina," I said, striving to remain calm. "I'm here to see Anton. He was brought in yesterday." Vera looked at me with concern and led me to Anton's room. He lay in bed, still unconscious from the sedation. "There's something off about this," Vera explained. "The dosage is too high for a mere injury." A chill ran down my spine. His father mentioned Anton was kidnapped. I confessed. Someone is keeping him like this intentionally. Vera was taken aback, but after a brief silence, she nodded in agreement. "We need to get him out of here," she said decisively, "but we must be cautious." We spent the remainder of the day strategizing the rescue. I was anxious, but I knew we had to act. That night, we returned to the hospital. Vera skillfully disabled the monitors and helped Anton out of bed without drawing any attention. We carefully transported him to my car and laid him in the back seat. The ride was silent, our nerves frayed. Finally, we arrived at my home, where I had prepared a room for Anton. Though he remained unconscious, Vera assured me that the sedation would wear off soon. I expressed my heartfelt gratitude, realizing that without her assistance, this rescue would have been impossible. The following day, Anton began to wake up. Though he was confused and weak, he managed to speak. "Where am I?" he asked in a raspy voice. "You're safe," I reassured him. "I'm Alina. I found you by the side of the road and later learned what had happened. You were kidnapped." Tears welled up in Anton's eyes. "It was Ivan," he murmured. "My guardian. He wants my inheritance." I couldn't fathom Ivan's cruelty. How could anyone do such a thing? "Don't worry," I said, holding his hand. "We'll figure this out. You're not alone anymore." Anton appeared relieved, but I knew our fight was just beginning. With Vera's help and the support of Anton's father, we started gathering evidence against Ivan. It was risky, but I was determined to seek justice. Each day, Anton grew stronger, and we gradually opened up to one another, sharing our fears and experiences. I had never met anyone quite like him, and despite the darkness of the situation, I felt a glimmer of hope. Rescuing Anton was just the first step. We now had to confront the real danger, Ivan. We couldn't let him evade accountability for his actions. As Anton continued to recover, I realized that each day was crucial for gathering evidence against his guardian. Vera, the nurse who had assisted us in getting Anton out of the hospital, remained a vital ally. She began searching for documents and medical records that would expose Ivan's wrongdoings. Meanwhile, Anton's father leveraged his influence to initiate an official investigation. While Anton was staying at my home, gradually getting better, we talked extensively. I discovered how brave and resolute he was. Even in his weakened state, he was committed to fighting for justice. His courage inspired me to persevere, even when things felt overwhelming. One day, Vera brought exciting news. "I found the medical records," she announced, her eyes sparkling with triumph. "They clearly indicate that Anton was sedated deliberately and without necessity." This evidence was pivotal. We decided to present the documents to the authorities. Anton felt a mix of nerves and relief at finally having something concrete to use against Ivan. Together, we went to the police station and handed everything over to the investigator overseeing the case. The next few days were filled with anxiety as the investigation unfolded, and we remained uncertain about the outcome. During this time, Anton and I supported each other, sharing more about our lives, hopes, and fears. Our bond deepened with each passing day. Finally, the moment we had been anticipating arrived. The police had gathered enough evidence to arrest Ivan. He was taken into custody and charged with kidnapping and attempted fraud. Anton and I were called to testify in court. It was a tense moment, but we were prepared. On the day of the trial, I saw Ivan for the first time. He exuded a cold, calculating demeanor, but I refused to let him intimidate me. I recounted my part of the story clearly, as did Vera and Anton's father. When it was Anton's turn to speak, he displayed a strength I had never witnessed before. He detailed everything he had endured at Ivan's hands, making it clear that he would not allow Ivan to ruin his life. The judge listened intently, and after all the testimonies, he declared Ivan guilty. A wave of relief and joy washed over me. Justice had been served, Anton was free, and Ivan would face the consequences of his actions. We returned home, exhausted yet elated. We sank onto the couch, and Anton looked into my eyes. "We can finally move forward," he said, a smile lighting up his face. "Yes," I replied, overwhelmed with happiness. "Now we can focus on our future." Thus, we began to plan the next phase of our lives together. With Ivan out of the picture, we could finally build the family we had always envisioned. The twins were on their way, and I knew Anton would be a fantastic father. In addition, the women's workshop was becoming a reality. Every day was a step closer to our dream. And with each challenge we overcame, we felt we were inching closer to complete happiness together. Anton and I formed an unbreakable team, and we were confident that with love and determination, we could tackle any obstacle life presented us. After weathering so many storms, calmness had finally settled in. Anton and I were closer than ever, and with Ivan no longer a part of our lives, we could concentrate on building our future together. Our days brimmed with joy and plans for what lay ahead. Anton was always by my side, assisting with preparations for the twins' arrival. Every ultrasound and every kick I felt in my belly was a cherished moment we shared with deep love. One day, while walking in the park, holding hands, Anton suddenly stopped. He turned to me, his expression serious yet affectionate. "Alina," he began, "these last months have been a roller coaster, but one thing has become clear to me. I love you, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you and our children." My heart skipped a beat. Before I could respond, he knelt down and pulled a small box from his pocket. "Will you marry me?" he asked, a shy smile gracing his face. Tears of joy welled up in my eyes. "Yes, Anton. Of course, yes," I replied, wrapping my arms around him tightly. He slid the ring onto my finger, and we kissed beneath the blue sky, filled with the realization that all our struggles had been worth it. With our wedding plans underway, we began to imagine our new life together. Anton embraced his role as a father to my twins with such love and dedication that my heart overflowed with gratitude. Every day he was there, caring for me, attending appointments, and helping to set up the baby's room. In addition, our dream of launching a franchise of mechanical workshops for women started to take shape. With Anton's support and Natalia's assistance, we gathered the necessary resources and decided to begin with a pilot workshop in Milan, offering not only mechanical services, but also basic courses for women to learn how to care for their own cars. The grand opening was a success. Witnessing the smiles and newfound confidence of the women who visited us was incredibly rewarding. It became more than just a business. It evolved into a community of support and empowerment. I had never felt so fulfilled. Yet not everything was smooth sailing. We encountered daily challenges, from managing the logistics of the new business to making the final preparations for the baby's arrival. Amid it all, the shadow of the past loomed, especially with the potential of running into Victor at any moment. However, every challenge only served to strengthen our bond. Anton and I leaned on each other, knowing that together we could face anything. Our home was a haven of love, and the excitement of welcoming the twins kept our spirits high. Then, on a cold winter day, my babies were born. Anton stood by my side, holding my hand and smiling through tears of joy. When I heard that first cry, my heart soared with happiness. They were absolutely perfect. We returned home with our little miracles, ready to embark on our new journey as a family. Each day was an adventure, but with Anton at my side, I felt we could tackle anything. Our journey was just beginning, and my heart was full. The arrival of the twins transformed our lives in ways I could never have imagined. Every day was a blend of joy and challenges as Anton and I learned the ropes of parenthood, discovering together the ups and downs of raising two little ones. Our days started early and ended late, but every smile from our children made it all worthwhile. Anton emerged as an incredible father, always eager to help, learn, and care for us. His unwavering support strengthened our bond even further. The women's workshop was flourishing, too. We attracted many clients, and the courses we offered were met with enthusiasm. It was gratifying to see the confidence grow in the eyes of the women we served. They learned to care for their own cars and feel safe on the road, something that had long been a dream of mine. Despite our happiness, we were aware that issues from the past still needed resolution. One day, while we were at the workshop, I heard a familiar voice. I turned around to see Victor. He looked older and tired, and for the first time, I noticed a glimmer of regret in his eyes. "Alina," he began, "I heard about the twins. I need to talk to you." Anton, who was beside me, took my hand. "I'm here," he said, offering me strength. I inhaled deeply and faced Victor. "Victor, a lot has changed," I started. "You left us when we needed you the most. Anton is here. He is the father of my children, and we won't let you hurt us again." Victor lowered his gaze. "I know I was wrong. I just want to ask for forgiveness, and if possible, to be part of their lives." It was a challenging decision. I understood that Victor had the right to see his children, but I also felt the need to protect my new family. "We can discuss it," I finally replied, "but it will be on our terms." With time, we managed to find a way to include Victor in the twins' lives safely and responsibly. It wasn't easy, but it was what was best for our children. They deserved to know the truth while also requiring the stability and love that Anton and I were committed to providing. Challenges continued to arise, but we stood ready to confront them together. Our workshop flourished, our children grew healthy and happy, and our love deepened every day. I realized that life is filled with ups and downs, but with courage, determination, and love, it's possible to overcome any obstacle. Every day spent with Anton and our children felt like a blessing. Together, we faced the past, built our present, and looked to the future with hope. We knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, we would be ready to face them all together as a family.